What's up YouTube? KS Gun Guy here. Thanks for joining me today as always. So I've got another in a series of product videos that I'm bringing you guys today. Now if you know, I like to bring good quality products to the channel that are usable not only for concealed carry, home defense, but also general range use. Now I've got a pretty unique and interesting product to bring to you guys today, and this is something that can not only be used at the range, but it can also be used at home, believe it or not. So I've got the Mantis X. Now if you're at all familiar with the Mantis X, and of course right now I've got it on the CZP-07 just as a placeholder, so to speak. But if you're familiar at all with Mantis X, this is actually an electronic product that hooks up with an app on your smartphone, whether Android or iOS or Apple, whatever you want to say, and it allows you to essentially evaluate the shooting that you're doing. It gives you tips and hints, and it also catalogs and tracks your shooting along the way. Now this is kind of a challenging video to make because I can't really show you my cell phone right here in front of you. So I'm going to be wheeling in some different videos, and I'm going to be doing some voiceovers with that just to make it a little bit easier, but I want to give you an opportunity to see what this is all about. Before we do, however, I do want to take a look at this product just a little bit. It basically fits on just about any of your standard firearms with an accessory rail that normally would be for lights, lasers, grenade launchers, but now in this case, the Mantis X, and it just mounts on again like any of those different accessories, and then you can screw it on really by hand, and you can actually get it pretty tight. And I've tested it on basically every gun I've got around here in the collection, and it fits just fine, and it's really cool. They've got different settings on the app to be able to select the different gun that you're going to be testing with, because I imagine every gun reads just a little bit differently in this device, and basically what it's doing is as you're pulling the trigger, as you're moving through the motion of actually taking the shot, it's evaluating what's happening with your gun. If your gun is moving around, or if your wrist is moving around, if you're anticipating any recoil, or maybe you're dropping your wrist a little bit, anything like that. So it's really evaluating all of those things and giving you that feedback in a wide variety of ways. So really cool stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of screens of the app. I've been testing this not only with the Glock 19, but the HKVP9 as well as the CZP-10C, just to see how it works, and I'm excited to bring that to you. So let's go ahead and take a look. So here's your intro screen where you get to choose what type of practice you do, and once you choose that, you can go to your shot screen and then start taking your shots. So I'll be taking a couple of shots with the VP9 just to see kind of where I land on this. So here we go, we'll see what happens. So there's my first shot, 98.4. Take another shot, 97.1. And then a third shot here, and we'll get to see how it does make suggestions based upon the type of shot that you do. And once you do that, you can move on to some of your other analytics to help you choose how you evaluate this. So here's another screen to help you start analyzing where your shots land. Now, the different colors mean different things. Blue is the hold, yellow is your trigger press, and then red is the movement after the trigger break. So it really analyzes the entire movement of the trigger pull from start to finish. It's a really unique way to present that and kind of shows you how the gun is moving around while you go through that process. Here's another screen to give you an overall summary of each shot, the time that it took to take, the time for the overall session, what your average score was. So it really gives you an entire view of the history of that particular open training. This screen shows you all of your shots, and it shows you not only your percentile where it is per shot, but it also shows you your trigger press movement and your hold movement, and also gives you tips and suggestions and tells you about possible causes, like for me, breaking the wrist up. This summary screen gives you an overall average score, and in this particular case, I took 40 shots with the VP9, and it told me that it was 95.3%. Breaking wrist up was a possible cause of some of the issues, and those red lines show you where your bullets would hit in relation to the center of the target. Now here's the final screen we're going to take a look at, and probably my favorite one. This is the actual target and where your bullets would have hit as you were shooting. As you can see, not pinpoint accuracy, but it also gives you that average, how many sessions this catalogs, and how many shots you've taken. So it's pretty cool to get that visual feedback. Welcome back. So that's just a few of the different screens and a few of the different features in the Mantis X. To be honest with you, I'm still exploring it. Now, I've spent the majority of my time really doing dry fire. I think that, for me at least, is really where this comes in handy. I like to sit around, of course, with an unloaded firearm and nobody around, certainly in front of the gun, and just practice that dry firing. I pick a target maybe across the room or something like that, and just and go through 50 rounds or 100 rounds, whatever it happens to be, and just kind of see how things are going. And generally speaking, I'm kind of in around the 93 to 95 percentile. Of course, a little bit lower, a little bit higher, depending on the shot. But I think it really is pretty accurate. I've got a couple of bad habits when I shoot. Of course, if you've seen me shooting, you'd probably say I have more than a couple of bad habits. But some of the really bad ones are I have a tendency to anticipate recoil. And what that means is I start putting my wrist down as I'm pulling the trigger. So it actually points the gun down just a little bit. And another thing I happen to do quite often is slapping the trigger. And of course, that's going to affect your accuracy. And the Mantis is actually pretty remarkable in that it picks a lot of that up, and it gives you feedback and tells you what you're doing wrong. You can even take a look at some of the tips and that sort of thing. So I haven't really spent a lot of time with this at the range so much. I've got the the targets downrange to tell me that I'm a terrible shot. I don't really need the Mantis to do that. However, I will definitely continue to explore this and some of the features, and I'll be bringing those to you as time goes on. But from a dry fire standpoint, I think it's really nice to be able to have some dry fire tools to help you and hopefully improve without having to spend a lot of money on ammunition, but hopefully some skills that you develop that will be able to translate into your range time or whatever it happens to be. So really cool, innovative little product. And when they send it to you, they send it to you in this nice little Pelican case right here. Sadly, you can't fit a gun or anything. You might fit a couple of bullets in it, but it's a nice little case nonetheless. So good job, Mantis. It's nice to be able to have some really cool accessories that fall a little bit outside the norm, but are things that can really help you develop your techniques and your fundamentals, at least to a degree, that can, again, translate into your range time and a little bit more fun and a little bit more accurate shooting. So I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say about this. Be sure to leave a comment if you've had any experience with this. I'm curious to hear those experiences, and look forward to that. And otherwise, thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.